Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch.
Okay, so I have the story of the 8 banks that spent 4.6 trillion. They said the total expenses of 8 Nigerian banks rose to 4.61 trillion in 2024. And this was driven by increases in both personal and operating costs. They said the data reveals a 107.8% rise from 2.2 trillion in 2023. They said the growing financial pressure on the bank, this highlighting the growing financial pressure on the banking sector. They mentioned that first holdco, they said the total of 568.3 billion in operating expenses from 341.5 billion, reflecting a 66.4% increase year on year. Then their personal expenses for the group stood at 308.5 billion. That's a significant surge from 175.9 billion, a growth of 75.3%. They also talked of Fidelity Bank. They say its own operating expenses increased to 242.7 from 135.3, representing a 79.3% rise. Personal expenses rose to 73.5 billion compared to 52.6 billion, reflecting a 39.6% increase. They also mentioned that of UBA, Access, and all those banks. But they said combined, that's total, combined operating expenses of 10 Nigerian banks rose by 42.51% to 3.23 in 2023 compared to 2.26 in the previous year. So you can see, but they are making money now. See, every day, whenever I wake up in the morning, I'll see debit alert, card maintenance fee, this, that. The SMS rates have increased.
They're always declaring profits. I have.
Okay, I was doing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So a total of 18 Africans are among the 135 cardinals eligible to elect the next pope. There are 252 cardinals. Only 135 cardinals have voting status and are eligible to vote for the next pope when the conclave begins. They said Europe has the highest number with 53 cardinals. Asia is next with 23, and then followed by Africa with 18 voting members of the College of Cardinals, and so on and so forth.
Why do you put Africa as a country? As a, like...
Yeah, no, they're continents. Europe, Africa, Asia.
So
they made a whole list of those from
they did break down Africa's own.
That's what I have here. So it's the whole breakdown of just the African cardinals. But they say that all the cardinals under the age of 80 can take part in the secret ballots to be held in the conclave. They need a majority of at least 2/3 plus 1 to elect the new pope. So the voting can take several rounds spread over numerous days. So it can take very long. And then eventually
Nigerians and Africans, do you have an idea? Do
you know, I've been looking, I didn't notice if we see, I didn't notice yes, we do. We have Peter Okpaleke is Nigeria. Yes.
Just one. Out of the 18.
Yeah, but the other African countries,
look through the list, they may have some.
Okay, so I have the story of the Senate responding to the serving pastor or the serving general overseer of the Global Community Citadel Church, Pastor Tunde Bakare, over his recent scathing remarks about the 10th National Assembly being rubber stamp. Said he has crossed the line. The Senate's reaction was contained in a statement by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Yemi Adaramodu. Bakare, who contested the APC presidential ticket against Tinubu in 2022, had during his State of the Nation broadcast accused the president of reducing the 10th Assembly to a haven for legislative rascality and likening it to the 48th member of the cabinet, of his cabinet. Of course, they responded. He described Abakare's comments as sweeping, disparaging, and politically motivated. We view his corrosive criticisms of the National Assembly as a biased and political ecumenical homily. I'm trying to figure out what that means, but pretty much he responded to the pastor concerning his criticism of the president. Okay, we're moving on now to Vanguard. So, the Niger state government imposes curfew, 11 killed in fresh Benue attacks. Protesters urge Tinubu to reinstate Fubara. World leaders expected as Vatican fixes Saturday for Pope Francis's burial. Don't take out your frustrations on us, Senate replies Bakare. Get to that story. Supremacy battle. I have no root with Oni of Ife, says Alaafin. And yeah, which story are we taking? In Vanguard, anybody?
I have a sad story inside.
Okay.
So they said armed men suspected to be cultists on Easter Sunday invaded Swali community, Yenegua local government area of Bayelsa State, killing 4 persons. Said the hooded men armed with AK-47 rifles, according to the report, stormed the populated area in a Toyota Hilux at midnight. They have come in, they shot sporadically at residents celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, forcing the residents to flee into different directions. They said 4 persons were confirmed dead, while several others were, injured. And they said residents had to speak on condition of anonymity. He said they've never been that type of attack since he started living there like 10 years ago. That was shocking to him. And it was not just armed robbery. It was not armed robbery attack. They didn't come in to steal anything. They just shot their victims and then disappeared. So they said, however, the area is known to be a den for 2 rival cult groups. They've always had those people who have supremacy battle from time to time. And a member of the House of Assembly representing Yenegua constituency, Chief Egba, condemned the attack. He had to visit the community and he said this was just a tragic loss of lives and it was barbaric. So he said, after expressing his deepest condolences to the entire Swali community, he said that they have to do something about this. The government needs to begin to mount police posts at strategic locations in order to avert future attacks. Then they are going to have meetings, make sure that people report when they suspect anything that's happening in the area. This is just the painful thing. We still have, pockets of cult issues that happen in different locations. And I'm wondering, do we have enough people in the area to report the matter to the police? Do we have are the police paying attention to those cultist issues, or they are waiting till somebody comes to report somebody's name? We're supposed to be doing, checks from time to time. It's just so painful.
Okay, another story in Vanguard.
Yes,
Anybody?
I do. Protesters urged the president to reinstate Fubara. So they said hundreds of protesters in Rivers State, including youths, men and women, have called on the president to recall the suspended governor of the state. Also, the Rivers State elders have written a letter to the president condemning the declaration of a state of emergency of the state, the suspension of the governor, his deputy, as well as the State House of Assembly members. So this protest happened, and the letter is just saying that they believe that the declaring a state of emergency for Rivers State was unconstitutional, and they empowered those who were in the wrong, really. And so they would like for the president to look into this and see how they can reinstate this and, revert this state of emergency that's been declared in Rivers State.
Okay, I was going to take the story of the Alaafin. So, the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Kim Uwade, on Tuesday admonished members of the public to ignore the malicious online publication that he is in a royal supremacy battle with the Oni of Ife or with any other monarch. He made this clarification in a statement issued by the Director of Media and Publicity, Bode Jaye, in Ibadan. Uwade, in the statement, described the anchor of the viral video as a pathological liar, urging the people to disregard the malicious video and the fabricated anchor on YouTube. He says that the attention of the monarch has been drawn to this online medium, Awikonko TV. In the malicious video, the anchor narrated how Obawade ordered his men to beat up to Paul, the father of the monarch of a village in the United States of America, and later handed him over to the police. And said that was false.
Oh.
That was what he was saying, it was false.
Okay.
And it was maliciously done. Oh. Okay, our final paper. Let's see how many minutes we have. A few more minutes. The Nigeria. You have a story?
No, I've taken my story.
The Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. IMF projects 3% economic growth for Nigeria. 43,000 Nigerians to perform 2025 Hajj from states and armed forces. Attacks on Plateau communities direct assault on humanity and rule of law, says NBA. NSA in Benue says attacks tragic and evil. I am not in supremacy battle. We took that story. Government attack Kwara, communities kill 6. 35 years after, Niam reminisces on Oka coup. Which story? Anybody? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we're taking most of the stories.
Yeah, quick one. More like good news. So the Lagos State government on Tuesday revealed that over 2 million passengers have been transported on the Blue Rail Blue Rail line since its launch in September 2023, while state-run buses have moved over 60 million passengers since May 2019. So the Commissioner for Transportation, Mr. Oluwaseun Osiyemi, was the one who said this yesterday during the year 2025 ministerial press briefing held in Alausa, Lagos. And it was more like an anniversary of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's second term, showcasing the major strides he has made under this administration. And they highlighted the Lagos State Transport Policy, which was launched in May 2024. They said it's now in implementation phase. They are focusing on inclusivity, safety, affordability, and sustainability. They talked about the rail development. He said that phase 1 of the Blue Line, that's Marina to Mile 2, has served over 2 million passengers, with phase 2, Mile 2 to Okokomaiko, in progress. They are adding that phase 1 of the Red Line, Agbado to Oyingbo, is now operational, with 8 stations and additional rolling stocks procured, while phase 2, which is Oyingbo to link Blue Line at National Theatre, is still in progress. So they said the state-owned bus operations have revealed that over 60 million commuters have been served since 2019, with daily ridership exceeding 40,000, and that plans are on to get new buses, you know, quality buses, and many things are under construction. This is a good one for Lagos State. When we go around, we see the, you know, the achievements of Lagos. They also talked about water transport. They said 15 locally built omnibus ferries have been launched and are already in operation, with the Ijegun Egba terminal, which is now open, among other things. So congratulations to Lagos State. Okay. We are seeing what they are doing.
All right, let's go on a short break now. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.